Ladies and gentlemen, limber up your tympanic membrane, stretch out your eustachian tube, and clean out your cochlea.
Because it's time to talk Tull to me.
I'm Omen Sade.
And I am Nick McGill.
And we are in your ear right now.
As Feckless Moans.
As Feckless Moans.
And this is Talk Tull to Me, your weekly adventure into the discography that is Jethro Tull.
A dissection of the anatomy of the brain of Ian Anderson and associates, song by song, album by album, throughout the entire large intestine that is
Jethro Tull's discography?
Yes.
So we would dissect Ian Anderson's tongue and Martin Barr's fingers.
Fingers, yeah.
And Clive Bunker's
heart.
Because that's where drumming comes from.
That's where drumming comes from.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to us. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome us back. Welcome back, the Feckless Moans, because we are back from our summer break.
Technically, we were 3 episodes ago.
Yeah, but we recorded those. You can tell.
Don't tell anyone.
You can tell from the sound difference. But that's the whole point of this, is that now, for the first time in Feckless Moans history,
Whoa.
Omen and I are in the same room.
Whoa.
We are in Feckless Moans studios.
We are in Feckless Moans headquarters.
In a bunker somewhere in upstate New York.
Yeah. That's not a joke.
Look at that wall of canned peas.
It's weird. Usually we record this without actually being able to see each other's faces. So this is very distracting.
I mean, we're both very beautiful.
Very, very, very handsome. Yes. As you can tell, because we're on the radio.
So that's exciting.
That is exciting. Nick, welcome back.
Welcome back, Omen. You can hear it. We're shaking
Sound
hands.
of handshakes. So Nick,
Omen,
what are we jumping back into this process with after our summers?
We're back into the third album, Benefit, and we are on song number 4, and that is Sun.
S-O-N.
Sunshine Day.
Nope.
S-O-N.
All right, let's have a listen to Sun.
All right, so that was Sun.
Yes, it was.
It was pretty hardcore. It's a kind of a heavy one.
Heavy in what sense? Are you talking about the music or the lyrics right now?
Music specifically. Yeah. This is feels like one of the heavier ones, if not the heaviest on this album.
It's definitely the least rhythmically diverse.
Yeah.
It's literally, I counted it out. It's either in 4/4 or maybe 8/4 time. It's something it's very regular, which is unusual for this album. They do a lot of playing around with stuff.
Right.
And that certainly gives it this sort of like, what do I want to say? Punch in my face feel.
It's very driving.
But
the guitar, Martin's guitar, that thick filter that he has on there,
it's very crunchy.
Yeah, that's what makes it driving to me.
Yeah, no, totally.
10 days more watching the sunset. When I was young.
There's something really interesting for me about the way that Anderson is singing the lyrics, and it's hard to describe, but it's sort of, if you look at the lyrics written out, it's sort of 4-line stanzas, but there are riffs in the middle of lines.
You're saying guitar riffs?
Guitar riffs in the middle of lines.
It's almost what I now see as being fairly regular, although they do it in a variety of ways. There's a call and answer between singing and the instrumentation.
Right. Like in the first verse, expression, guitar, 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 guitar.
Yeah.
And passion, guitar, 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 guitar.
Yeah.
Expression and passion.
It's the emotion to follow the lyric, the words. Maybe.
Yeah, I like that.
I like, so about that slowdown halfway through.
I only feel.
Yes.
So nice.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very, for me, rhythmically redeeming for this song. Because if it was just that one pace, I think it'd be a bit, I mean, it's gorgeous to listen to, but I think it would be a bit too much the same thing. And that interlude really, really breaks it out of that mode and makes it, sort of gives you, the listener, a moment to breathe.
There wouldn't be any variation in texture
Exactly.
if that weren't there. It almost, and Martin's plucking, I think it's just because he's still in that filter, but it sounds like a harpsichord to me.
I believe that's John Evan on the organ or the piano.
Oh.
I mean, at least he's mixed in with this song, yeah.
Okay, we may have been hearing,
But-
listening to two different bits.
But it may be that that Martin Barr is playing in unison with John Evan in such a way that they're sort of creating one tone.
Yeah.
Let's listen to that section again.
Yeah, let's.
What touches me and feeling touching, I can see a better state to be.
So on further examination, I think what we're hearing, Nick, is John Evan laying down a guitar. Sorry, John Evan laying down a piano background.
Yeah.
And then an acoustic guitar being plucked on almost a single string,
Yeah.
kind of way up high. That's that really vibratory sound that you were talking
Yeah.
about.
Which we think may be Anderson.
I think it could be.
I don't see why not.
You know what we don't hear at all in this song?
Drum?
Das Flaut.
Is that German for drums?
Yeah. Yep. No, there's no
Yeah.
flute in this song.
True. True. I wonder.
I forgot it.
We must have forgot it at home. We'll listen to the next 4 songs, and none of them have flute. Yeah, that's all. They didn't want to waste studio time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Driving back to the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. It doesn't need flute. It doesn't feel like it's lacking to me.
No. You know what it feels though? I feel like I'm going to say some things. I feel like Ian Anderson's flute really is sort of a lightning rod for the divine. I know that sounds silly, but you know, when he plays the flute, it's really, I feel like he's channeling something else
Okay.
other than himself.
Mhm.
And in this song, I'm getting a lot of like the actual Ian Anderson.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep. I want to go back and listen to Back to the Family now.
Ooh.
Because one of the notes I wrote down is that switch in tone from the heavy to the soft kind of melodic that we just listened to again, and then back into the heavy. Is that the same thing that we found in Back to the Family, where one tone is dedicated to the city, where it sucks, there's no slowing down or anything, and the other tone is dedicated to the country, but that's crappy too. You
Well,
know?
actually, I think that the structure of that is more. It's one sound is dedicated to the state of not enjoying something,
Okay.
and then the other tone is like wishing for the other place.
Okay.
I think it's not divided between the country and the city in terms of the tones. I think it's. I'm pretty sure. I think we can go back and listen to it.
Just the two negative outlooks, basically. Two different types of negative outlook.
Right. It's the dissatisfaction of what you have and the perception that you'll be happy in the future.
Okay. But is that the same case here, where it's two separate things?
Ooh. So now it seems like we can get into the lyrics. Isn't it?
Yes, I think that is a good place to get back and get into the lyrics.
Oh my gosh.
I do indeed.
There is so much here. There are so many little moments that I feel he took from life.
It also feels like, what's the one where they talk about we'll pick you up in a limo, and it was the tail end of the last
Song for a Thousand Mothers.
Yeah. Song for Thousands of Mothers.
This
exactly.
1,000 songs for mother.
Yeah.
This is 1,000 feelings for daddy.
Yes, exactly. Feeling 1,000 daddies.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, oh my gosh, okay, there are verses for this where I'm like, oh, I can totally envision exactly what's happening here. And then there are verses where I'm like, I don't get it.
Yeah. Is it really just is it just a language barrier? Or is it...
Yeah, English is my third language.
Well, 1970 British English.
No, it's just that I just don't understand what he's talking about. So some of it's okay. So for instance, when I was your age, amusement we made for ourselves. Totally clear.
Mm-hmm.
Permission to breathe, sir. Don't talk like that. I'm your old man. Those seem like very, like I can almost see the scene where those interactions happen.
Mm-hmm.
When I was your age, amusement we made for ourselves. Like, I just imagine Lil Anderson, Lillian being like, "Daddy, I'd like to do this," or like, "I'd like a toy," and his daddy being like, "Well, when I was your age, we played with more."
Is that your best Scottish accent?
It was, yes, years of research.
Full immersion.
But like, like that feels like the sort of thing that antique dads say.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's the older generation. It's, when I was your age, blah, blah, blah.
Totally,
anything.
totally.
Yeah.
And then permission to breathe, sir. Don't talk. I mean, ooh.
Yeah, that feels like maybe if we're looking at this as a series of vignettes, as
totally
a montage.
Yeah.
That cuts ahead a couple of years when he like wants to borrow the car or something.
Sassy 12-year-old Ian Anderson.
Yeah.
Borrowing the car.
Yep.
In
Scotland and then yeah, sure.
Or for instance, they'll soon be demobbed, son, so join up as soon as you can. That, I reckon that's about the military.
Demobbed though? I mean, I'm not doubting the military part, but that was, I can't fathom what that is.
I'm not sure what demobbed is, but join up.
Yeah.
Definitely it feels like, like join up means join up the military.
Join up means join up. Another, demobilize. It's short for demobilize. It's informal British English.
For so the war will, whatever their needs are, will be over soon. So you better get into the army while they're still taking people.
No, I think demobilize means you're set in a spot. British informal, having been released from the armed forces. Demobbed soldiers, a newly demobbed army engineer.
Oh.
But then another one is saying he had to go back to China. Directly he was demobbed and hasn't had a holiday since the war.
Well, either way, it has to do with the military.
In fact, it does.
So we were totally right. Mad props to us.
You were.
But that also seems like a very okay, so I think, we've talked a lot about in past episodes, Ian Anderson's identity as an artist and what that meant coming from a working class background. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this is sort of like a bunch of moments that he's showing us in which that tension was there. His father being like, yeah, join the military. And he's like, no, Daddy, I want to play the flute in a rock and roll band.
That serious tension right there.
Serious tension. You can't borrow that because that's for the races and doesn't grow on trees. Pretty clear, I think.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, my take on that is you can't borrow that money because that's something that I'm going to go bet on the horses, and money doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, that makes absolute sense. And I feel like a dummy not thinking about it.
that's okay.
The giving it to you is more throwing it away than going to bet with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is my weekly horse betting budget,
Right, yeah. As opposed to you getting
as opposed to you getting a new amp.
allowance, yeah. Or a new amp, yeah.
I wonder how much, I mean, I know this is like jumping a little bit into some of that book,
Yes.
but I know that the early Ian Anderson bands, pre Jethro Tull, were, they were playing in bands in high school
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
sixth form or whatever you call it in England.
Yeah, right. When they took their owls, is that?
Yes, when they took their owls and then took them back. And they were kids. I mean, they were playing music before they could even drive.
Mhm.
So they relied on support from various parental figures, including like some guy who had a van, and also
Sounds totally safe.
yeah, and also like somebody's mom, like one
Right.
of the band's bandmates' mothers invested a ton of money into, I think, the Blades was the band at the time.
Yep.
And I can imagine Ian Anderson's like frustration at having these projects that he clearly felt passionate about, clearly was having some level of success at, that other adults were supporting, and being like, Dad, I need like £2.50 for new guitar strings and a drum head. And the dad being like, no, join the army.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we don't know much about
At all.
his
We don't know much in general.
period. I should have ended the sentence there. About his early life with his relationship with his dad.
I
Really.
think very little is written about that.
Yeah, so we're really going with
And maybe that's intentional.
pure speculation, but maybe we're reading between the lines, people.
Or maybe we're literally reading the lines.
Oh, yeah, also that.
At Ian Anderson.
We're reading the actual lines. Yeah, it seems like dear old boiler fluid.
Boiler fluid.
Boiler fluid Anderson didn't seem terribly
BFA.
BFA in boiler fluid. Didn't seem terribly thrilled with his son's choices.
Could be.
So it seems.
Or wasn't demonstratively excited about it at the least.
Fair enough. Wasn't supportive.
Yeah. I
And-
think that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Okay, Nick.
And it took him two and a quarter albums to get this one out.
Right. I mean, there's some glimpses of it earlier, certainly.
Sure.
But this is pretty clear.
Okay.
It's called Sun.
I mean, it could all be allegorical. It could be. Nope. It is smeared on a bathroom wall. It is very. Yeah.
So I have a question for you about one verse, and then I want to jump into the middle section where the rhythm changes.
Yes.
But first, I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, this is a little chestnut.
Mm-hmm.
It's advice, and it's nice to know when you're best advised. You've only turned 30, so son, you'd better apologize.
And it's nice to know when you're best advised. You're only turned 30, so son, you'd better apologize.
My question is this.
Mhm.
The time that he wrote this, Ian Anderson was 23 years of age.
Hmm.
Why would he write, you've only turned 30?
My thought is that he will never be an adult in his dad's eyes. Could you insert any age as long as his dad's alive? Ian's going to be a screw up and will never, quote unquote, fully respect his dad, at least in his dad's eyes.
So he'll be still viewed as a child.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Especially if he chose the career of being in a band.
Right. And when you grow up, if you're good, we will buy you a bike.
We will. At your mother's insistence, we will buy you a bike.
Exactly. Okay.
And then it just kind of trails off right at the end.
It's not exactly. That's not word for word.
It's not note for note. It does blend really well into the next song though.
This whole album is very blendy. I was listening on the drive down here, and
They flow.
I was
really
like,
well.
I was like, what song? Where is the end of the song?
When does it trade? Yeah.
Once the next, where am I? I'm lost.
Because even in some songs there are breaks that could technically be the change of a song.
Well, and this is one of them.
Yeah.
So now going back to this break.
Mhm.
I only feel.
Okay, where it breaks is right as it goes into. These are some of the most obscure lyrics for me.
Yes.
I only feel what touches me, and feel in touching I can see a better state to be in. What? Nick,
I
can you shed any light on this?
I only feel what touches me,
Uh-huh.
and feel in touching I can see a better state to be in. Oh, I got it.
Oh, what
I
is
think
it?
I got it. I only feel the rage and disrespect in being treated like a child because that's what's touching me. And in feeling that, I can see a better state to be in. I can see the bright side. I can see a life without someone treating me like this.
Okay, following it up. Who has the right to question what I might do? That's interesting. Based on that, that sort of is like, I have to hold on to this path that I have of being an artist.
Yeah.
In feeling, I should touch the real and only things I feel. Oh, okay. I think it might be sort of like you have to trust what you know to be true about the world, your own worldview that you develop out of experience, rather than someone else's dictated, this is how things are, this is how you have to behave.
Yeah. And it's all to me it sounds like he's trying to explain away his rebellion almost. Because I mean, it's the flip of a coin. He could very well have become his dad.
Totally.
Being treated like this.
Well, and I also think
and
that
perpetuated that cycle.
Right. Well, there's also, like you were saying just a second ago, that feeling of anger toward one's parents, which is, I think, is common, especially in 23-year-olds.
Yeah.
That can overtake you. And I sort of feel like in the context of this musical shift in the middle of the song, do, 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 do,
You're committing.
do, do, do. Yes. I almost feel like that's taking, like when you're in the middle of all that rage and all that anger and shouting, when you like actually take a breath and you're like, actually, I'm a totally valid person. My path that I'm choosing is totally valid. I believe in myself, and that's the most important thing, and no one else can tell me, that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And then back into it.
Yeah.
Screw you, Dad!
It's the explanation and validation in the middle of this song.
To himself. It's about his relationship with himself,
Yeah.
whereas the whole other rest of the song is about his relationship with his dad. Whoa! Cracked it.
Nailed it.
That was the sound of a high five. We need subtitles for the podcast.
Subtitles?
No, not that. What's the thing? What's the opposite of subtitles?
Oh, like when
Action
a blind
descriptions.
person watches Netflix and there's someone who describes things.
Yeah, I always wonder what that's like.
I
Nick is turning slightly away from his mic now. His yellow tinted glasses. Oh, and his...
I did an audiobook seminar I met someone in an audiobook seminar who did that for Netflix for a couple of shows. Yeah.
Whoa.
I forget what she called it.
Action description.
Audio description.
Audio description.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
It's apparently a lot harder than you would think.
I would imagine that it would be very hard.
Because you can't add any emotion. It is legit just straight description. My dog is losing her mind. All right. Hang on. Okay, so I think we solved the greatest mystery that was behind Sun. For sure.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on Sun?
You know, I just hope that they improved their relationship as time went on. That's all I'll say about that.
We'll never know.
We may never know.
Omen, if Sun were a relative, what relative would Sun be?
Like of my family members?
No, just in general, like your stereotypical.
I feel like it would be the cousin who dropped out of high school and went to a year of vocational college but didn't finish because he was too mad at the world.
You nailed exactly the one I was thinking.
Do you have that cousin?
No.
But you know what I mean? And then they come to family events and they just like sit angrily in the corner the whole time and they're like, yeah, but it's all screwed up anyway.
And they eat their Christmas ham with like a switchblade.
Yeah.
They carve their name into the like the wood of the
They wish
the
they were
table.
cool enough for a motorcycle, but they never actually got a real job.
Yeah, they had like a Vespa or something.
Don't knock Vespas.
On the scale of cool,
They inherited their grandmother's car.
yes,
They-
her Buick LeSabre.
Yeah, when they were making it, when they were making Buicks that brown color, you know what I'm talking about?
They're like maroon brown.
Yeah, faded maroon brown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the coolest thing that he could do was get that steering wheel cover that had flames on it.
Yeah, and so he did
And of course he did.
at
Sure.
a gas station.
Sure,
when
yeah.
he worked there.
Yeah, he stole it from the gas station.
That's why he got fired.
Yep. Oh, unraveled.
Woo, old Billy.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So that is it for this week. Welcome back, everybody.
When you grow up, if you're good, we will buy you a bike.
Welcome back
Welcome back.
and goodbye.
And goodbye. Next week, we are covering the third in the triptych of songs for Jeffrey.
Oh, really? Is it the third already?
It is. It is the fifth song off of Benefit. It is For Michael Collins, Jeffrey, and Me.
Which in itself is a triptych.
It's a triptych within a triptych, so it's a 9-tick. Math. I don't think that's how it works.
What was the 9th month?
September.
November.
Oh, what was? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No.
Oh, originally. I don't mean the modern calendar that everyone hates.
I think you're the only person I've ever heard
Really?
really object to it.
God, it bothers me so much.
It's daylight savings time is way more of a hassle than a couple of months.
It's the entire system is just screwed up, man.
The Julian calendar system.
Whoosh, eat my ham.
Billy, how'd you get in here?
Okay, so until next time, don't be a disobedient son and listen and subscribe to our podcast.
Rate and review. If
Rate-
you're this far, you're subscribed at this point.
We are your daddy.
We are your Tull daddies. So
I'm Owen Sade.
I'm Nick McGill.
We are Feckless Momes
And this is Talk Tull to Me.
on the Feckless Momes Audio Network.